Hello, prospective and collective audience. Welcome. Before we get into it, I just wanted to thank you for your support and suggestions. One of you kindly suggested I play the B series.
What the
Hackers.
is this piece of
Interesting media. I have a couple of questions for the guy who recommended this. Who hurt you? What bones are in your closet? Genuinely a legendary find. Thank you for that experience. Now let's get into it. We will be looking at a game that you can own for the low price of $3.74 on Steam as of 2 months ago, or by paying pretty much the exact same price for every month over the course of 2 years, you can get it for free. Of course, I'm describing Aliens vs. Predators. Aliens vs. Predators, or AVP, refers to both the 2004 movie and the 2010 game. I will be reviewing the latter, which is both later in terms of release and universe chronology, unless you include the 1994 version, which came out earlier than either, but is set later than the former, and earlier than the latter. But it really doesn't matter, because it looks like this. Now you may have noticed something. It's called A versus P, which only indicates 2 parties, but a third campaign option suggests a third component. I like to imagine there is a secret additional letter missing from the printed title, an additional P, which could be misinterpreted by half the fanbase for obvious reasons. And so, to avoid backlash from the world's IT, they opted to drop it from the released version. By now, you've probably correctly assumed the second P represents the human element of the game. Specifically, it stands for I pissed and shitted my pants while playing as a Marine.
You should be clear of friendlies, so if anything moves, shoot it.
The Marine is built different, and by that, I mean he's built much worse. I'll get into exactly what that looks like, but let me actually introduce the game. AVP the game is iconic for its combination of intellectual properties and alien aesthetic, along with the separated campaign structure. You can play as the alien, the predator, and the each features its own style and genre of game. The aforementioned Marine campaign is genuinely horrific. The Alien campaign comedic.
Where's my Mountain Dew? No, where's my Mountain Dew? I keep it in the microwave. Let me smell your breath. I will hunt you to the edge of the earth!
And the Predator campaign a grunt fantasy, except you aren't the grunt. Not only is each campaign self-contained with its own story and timeline, the consequences of each character's actions ripple across other points of view. If you've ever wondered what it's like to take PCP, this is a perfect representation. Imagine you turn off the power to your own home. Later, you turn it back on in a different body. Then you turn around and see your neighbor in your living room with half of his face eaten off, and wonder why it tasted so good. You can play the campaigns in any order. However, I recommend the following sequence: Marine, then Alien, then Predator. Now that you have the gist, let's get into the The Marine campaign plays like a standard FPS. I chose to play it on hard for a more accurate experience. That is to say, I was one shot more than I'd like to admit. You may ask, by the enemies, right? No, it was by my own lack of depth perception. You see, xenomorphs have acidic blood, and so when you politely feed them the entire 99-round mag from your pulse rifle, the instantaneous voring upsets their stomach, and they burst into an acid bomb. Which is fine if you have some distance, but there are plenty of points in the game where you're not allotted this distance. And so, you'll find yourself casually blasting away when all of your health instantaneously evaporates. This is a particular problem with the shotgun, since its effective range is a micron further than instantaneous dissolution. Luckily for you, for the first part of the game, you won't have to worry about the splashback from your bullet hose, because you won't have it. Instead, you are given the humble pistol. It having a dedicated slot in the hotbar and infinite ammo are compelling uses of the power of suggestion, indicating the weapon is viable. This is a false ideology. Unless fighting the causally regressed or immolated, this thing kinda sucks. Luckily, each weapon comes with an alternative fire that can drastically change their weapon's effectiveness. For example, the pulse rifle gets a grenade launcher, which, if accurately aimed, devastates the enemy. The pistol's alt fire sees no such benefit. It lowers its damage per shot and accuracy considerably. I recommend sticking with the primary fire. Next is the pulse rifle. It fires a hail of bullets, which is a welcome upgrade from the pistol. However, the damage does feel inconsistent at times. Sometimes it shreds, and other times it takes a whole mag for a single enemy. Most levels spawn you with a pulse rifle, making it your bread and butter for the whole campaign. That is, until you find literally any other weapon to immediately replace it with. The shotgun, for example, provides an insane amount of utility. It can one-shot Xenos with a shot to center mass or head, and it chunks bosses with its secondary fire. It may have much less ammo than the pulse rifle, but considering each shot could be a dead Xeno, it's an entirely fair trade. The flamethrower is fantastic. I've yet to see a video game flamethrower with historically accurate range, but that doesn't matter when it has historically accurate damage. A single burst will set a xenomorph on fire, and then you can finish him off with the pistol to save ammo. Just be careful not to be too close when they cook off. I am finding out right now as I write this that I never actually used the secondary fire, since the primary fire was all I needed.
It has a really cool alt fire mode where you can actually spray the gas out first and then light it with the flamethrower, creating walls of fire in the environment, which is really cool.
Oh, neat. The sniper rifle sploinks. This bad boy blasts any unreinforced limb schmoove off. It is particularly fantastic on maps with great line of sight. This is a weapon for CS and Valorant mains. On a side note, if you are in need of an aim trainer, let me know. I have some recommendations. The smart gun is a smart gun to pick up whenever you see it. In a couple short bursts, it annihilates any Xeno you come across. Its all-fire turns off its higher brain functions and turns it into a simple machine gun. This is particularly effective against androids, since it allows you to directly aim at their legs. The androids are one of two basic enemy types I have yet to mention. Take every comment I've made about how long it takes to kill a Xeno, and triple or quadruple it for the androids. They are heavily armored infantry that are most easily killed by taking out the limbs. Once 2 limbs are gone, they die. On hard, this means you'll be spending at least 4 sniper rounds, 5 if you decide to pop their head off to reduce their accuracy, to take out just 1. In other words, they are sponges, hungry for juicy, delicious, explosive tip. The final enemy type is the big alien, aka the Praetorian. You see them only twice, and the first time, it's technically a boss. If you have the distance, snipe them. If you don't, then make the distance. The last and most important mechanic is the flare.
Did you see it? On the left side of the doorframe, barely visible on camera.
You apparently stole your flashlight from some child in a corridor. That is to say, it's not going to be enough. These creatures perfectly blend into even the lightest shadows. Pop a flare as often as you can. This will illuminate a significant area as compared to your little glowworm. One of the most terrifying experiences you can have in this game is when you pop a flare or wave your flashlight around and only catch the tip of a tail as it shuffles out of view. If you couldn't tell, I love horror. So when I visibly piss my pants on screen, you know I'm having a good time. As a reward for braving the dark and slaying everything in your path, you get a chance to flip the script. The Alien campaign is the shortest of the 3, and for good reason. You get every gimmick from the start, and there aren't many to begin with. The most notable being, you can climb walls. I don't think I have ever done this scene without hanging from the ceiling, just because I can. This is perhaps one of the most fun and disorienting mechanics I have ever seen. As for combat, you have 2 kinds of attacks, a heavy and a light. The light attack isn't fancy, but it sure is effective, at least until someone blocks. That's when you break out the heavy attack, a crazy right hook. There are, however, conditions for an alternative heavy strike. Conditions my tiny, slick little brain cannot understand. For all I know, it requires that the stars and moon are in alignment. Jupiter is in retrograde, and somewhere on Earth, a hamster is actively suntanning in a microwave. Once these conditions are met, you will instead use your tail, which comes with increased knockback and range. If you are on a wall, then it consistently replaces the heavy attack no problem. But when you are on the ground, it feels like a coin flip between extra zesty style or non-consent. Once you've mastered combat, the world is your oyster. And this particular mollusk is fueled by guerrilla warfare. Confuse and disorient your targets by attacking from any conceivable angle. Turn any fatal funnel into funnel cake. Lure enemies into corners with a hiss that, frankly, if I heard IRL, I'd respond by launching enough ordnance to wipe out the entire cardinal direction. Or, at the very least, I'd kill myself. Oh, this guy gets it. This is a horror game. You are the monster. Never forget it. Now, forget everything I just said, because we're going into the Predator campaign. But before we do, I'd like to tell you a little story. There once was a man who recorded 2 hours of footage where certain incredibly difficult to repeat things happened quite often, only to realize none of it was captured. Me, I'm the man. Going through this experience has helped me to understand something. This game is not any more enjoyable on a replay. Yeah, there are collectibles, and yeah, there are achievements for completing it on different difficulties, but it doesn't really change the gameplay. There are no choices to make, or any real benefits of doing it on higher difficulties. The Predator is unique in that his playstyle is a combination of both alien and marine. He has a variety of ranged gadgets, yet is still strong in melee. He is also hypermobile, like the alien, but maintains an upright posture like a human. He is a different animal and the same beast. The only limit to his potential is the amount of 9-volt batteries he has in his pocket. The first gadget you receive is your plasma caster. The shoulder-mounted plasma caster can be fired either normally, where the reticle guides its aim, or it can be charged for a more powerful tracking shot at the cost of more energy. This feature of advanced warfare technology is particularly, and exclusively, effective at taking out completely still and/or necessary targets. Unlike the alien who has a deep knowledge of HVAC and HVAC traversal, or the human with his commanding officer and artificial girlfriend, we, the Predator, must borrow our access pass from the nearest volunteer. Failing to secure an intact retina results in a mission failure. The second gadget you get is a magnetized mine. Combining this mine with the Predator's ability to lure people to a specific location is downright intentional design. The next weapon comes with batteries included. You find the Smart Disc, a chainsaw frisbee boomerang, in the hands of a previous frat mate. For anyone but you, interacting with this thing is like playing a game of hot potato, where the potato is replaced by a sentient circular saw, and it's the only one making the decision of who gets burned. I say that, but in reality, this weapon is popular among gamblers. The reason being it serves as a reminder that choice is an illusion. Your destiny was predetermined by the primordial maths that produced the Big Bang, and every moment ever since.
I am dipping nuggets you've never heard of into sauces you could never understand.
You either win the jackpot, or you never had a chance. And you'll never know unless you try. That is, of course, unless you subscribe to quantum mechanics and the nature of the indeterminability of subatomic mechanisms.
The electric field comes.
Personally, that's how I cope with the Smart Disc missing literally every target, every single time. Surely, it's a result of quantum entanglement localized in my PC and nothing to do with my skill issue. The final piece of equipment you receive is the combi stick. Once you have the combi stick, the idea of a diverse arsenal is laughable. This is the last thing you'll ever need. It's accurate, it's quick to return, and it's devastating. It one-shots every single enemy outside the Praetorian or Predalian class Xenos. And it doesn't matter where it hits. Straight through the dome? Yeah, that works. Right on the pinky toe? As lethal as it gets. This thing is genuinely my favorite weapon in the whole game. The sound. The damage. The penetration. How does it get so deep? That does it for the Predator's weaponry. However, he still has some tricks up his sleeve. He has 3 visual spectrums to choose from: visible light, infrared, and Albert Hoffman vision. Additionally, you can also zoom in on enemies, lure them with false comms, and turn invisible. The Predator arsenal is very conducive to hit-and-run tactics, or you can simply ignore the run and just keep hitting. Healing, as the Predator combines the healing mechanics of both the human and the alien. As the human, you have segmented health. which over time automatically fills to the maximum of the current segment, while health kits restore the entire bar. Aliens simply heal over time. Predators have a full bar that is segmented according to the power of the attack. If you avoid subsequent attacks, the segmented health will heal. However, if multiple attacks successfully land, one after the other, the bar is permanently grayed out, and a new segment is created based on the subsequent attack strength. Just like the Marine, health kits must be spent to return the whole bar. And that's it. The story. Spoilers ahead. Let's start with the Marine. The opening cinematic shows us Mr. Whalen opening an ancient vault, surely to find a bunch of gold treasure, which he will donate to all the orphans of Earth. I guess not. Next, we are in the cockpit of a Marine lander, where we get a great view of advanced interstellar warfare. I'm sure this will be a fair and engaging fight. I guess not. While making planetfall, you get bonked in the head, and so you must be carried into your fob by your Latina GF. On the way in, some of your squad mates are killed by xenomorphs. Seeing how quickly the xenomorphs killed your comrades, your team leaves you in a garage, all alone, with the worst weapon in the game. Your LGF kindly spoon feeds you the tutorial.
Take a stim. You'll feel better.
Turns out, something is wrong with the power, and you gotta reset it. Cue perfect opportunity to lose what little vision you have. Your reset didn't have the desired effect. Cue flare. You are sent the directions to a couple of squad mates, and so you make your way to link up. Sadly, they didn't last long. I'm sure this is the last time this will happen. You meet up with Tequila and get an actual gun. After properly restoring power, your fellow Marines perform the first necessary mission objective of living it up at the local club. After they get ambushed, you are sent to help them out. But it's too late. I'm sure this is the last time this will happen. Not a minute later, the elevator malfunctions, and another Marine is sent to aid you in your own ambush. Sadly, he's accosted in the elevator, and you are too late to help him. I'm sure this is after making it out alive, you are sent to the last Marines of your squad. And would you looky there, they are actually alive. Mostly. And they actually stay alive. Oh. Well, sucks to suck. After the blockade fails and more Marines die, you are ordered to bail. Sir? Yes, sir. Unfortunately, you are captured and stripped of your armaments, except for Old Faithful. You wake up in the mines and fight your way to the next plot point, the refinery. In the refinery, you will find facehuggers, loads of Xenos, and a very angry grandmother. Blow her up. After she technically self-immolates, you bail before insurance can make a claim. Next up is the obligatory swamp level. You walk and shoot some more. This time, some of the things you shoot are androids. Luckily, an evac is on the way. The temple. Oh, and your evac gets absolutely domed. The temple. This is a target-rich environment. Here you find that some of the evac crew survived and are holed up in the temple. Once you finally link up with them, they give you the bad news. Tequila has been latink-snapped, and the only way to save her is to listen to the lady in your head.
If you help me, I will get you to your friends.
The new broad dares you to traverse the terrifying ancient alien structure. No balls. Of course you do, and are immediately met with an intergalactic frat dad. He says some not nice stuff. As you learn, the smart gun was not a smart gun to bring to this fight. Luckily, the humble double-barrel pump-action shotgun is there to save you. After beating the Predator, we make our way inside. And after desecrating the deceased and newly living, we find out our Tequila has forgotten the safe word. It's speleothims, you silly goose. Due to this mistake, there is now a bun in her oven. Except she isn't an oven. She's more like a microwave. And the baby is a casserole filled with microplastics and covered in tinfoil. In simple terms, you gotta get that chicken bake out of there as fast as possible. In an unfortunate series of events, Mr. Whalen halts the procedure. So, in lieu of surgery, your plan is to freeze your girl and steal the executive fast pass to jettison off planet. Currently, he resides in the center of the pyramid. So, and here you are. The core. Finally, you meet Mr. Wayland. Except he's not alone. He knew you were coming, and you knew that Mr. Wayland was unarmed. And he knew you knew. So he had one of his cronies sneak up behind you to disarm you. But you knew he knew. So you didn't load your gun. Which in retrospect might be the reason you find yourself in this predicament in the first place. Anyways, an earthquake happens. Finally, the final boss. Well, it looks like the smart gun was it, but wait, there's more. As you tumble down the stairs, you come to the conclusion you were going to do right now what you should have done 5 minutes ago. Now that that's over and you have his iPad, you skedaddle back to the entrance. You find the rest of the gang are waiting for their ticket off planet. You make it onto the shuttle and shocker, Wayland is still alive. The pilot is in on the plan and your girl is being referred to as a live specimen. Which, it's like, yeah duh. Roll credits. I'm sure you've recently looked at the timeline and are now wondering, oh my goodness, how is he going to get such an in-depth breakdown of the story for the other campaigns? Like I said, the Marine is the best one. So I'm gonna take artistic liberty with the other 2 campaigns to save on time, and leave you with a little something to discover for yourself. Now this is the Alien campaign. Did you catch all that? The Predator campaign is a fascinating look into the culture of the... How the frick do you say this? Yow. The Yowie are a group of hunters that fetishize honor. You could think of them as a fraternity. And certain members have done the most dishonorable act of falling asleep first at the sleepover. And you know what that means.
Prank him, John.
Your objective is to prank your homies before they wake up. Off you go. Welcome back. I see you brought the device. Now we know the location of the Xenomorph homeworld. Roll credits. Now I know I've omitted a lot, but I don't want to spoil everything. This game is a classic in my book. It's cheap, it's competent, and it's fun for the whole family. One thing I didn't talk about, but I'm sure I've been inundating you with constantly, is the glory kills. This is one of the earliest games to feature these, and dang, they are good. Some even made me genuinely laugh out loud. I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you for watching. If you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments. Our community may be small, but I know you won't disappoint. Have a great day.
Aww.